your method is just, it cuts right to the chase, to what you need to be able to succeed on the bar.
I wish I'd like picked up the Klein method and joined Counsel table sooner, because honestly, it changed the game. It really did.
The first day I passed the test, I went on LinkedIn and I just realized, my God, there's like way more jobs I can get now, way more jobs that I am eligible for now. This is literally the only thing that stood in the way between that and, a huge pay increase and everything else.
Yeah, with her program, it was like a map, and it was just super helpful. And I can't say enough good things about it. It really did help me, and like, I'm proof.
I've already recommended your program to some friends.
And so I worked with Jessica, and she gave me everything I needed to do every day. And that is the number one benefit, I think, of working with Jessica through this program, through Counsel Table, through doing the Klein method and everything else.
Just your program was so different that it finally worked for me.
It was comforting to know that I could finish what Jessica had put in front of me, and that was good enough for the day. There was no, like she said, like when you're done studying, you're done studying. You feel like, yeah, I did everything I was supposed to do. With Barbary, I was like, maybe I should hit that up again.
With with your program, it was like getting to work right away, right? And even if you don't know what to write, you write what comes to mind, what you know, and you see where you're at, right, where you stand, and you're like, oh shit, I have a lot of work to do. And that also motivates you. It motivated me.
Like, your program helped me find time where I had no time, literally. I don't know, I had some crazy stuff going on that literally took up the majority of my working day. I was also trying to finish my master's. I had no time at all. But yeah, because every second that I put in was quality, like, and I could come away and I could tell you exactly what I'd learned, like, and how it was gonna like transform my exam experience.
It was a really guided and directed learning experience that I again wish I would have had before law school. It was just incredibly valuable, because you don't waste any brain space on what you don't need to know.
Like with Jessica, it was just, like she said, it was just clarity, it was time management, and it was getting efficient studying in. That's what it was. It was efficiently studying.
Just having that starting point be so simple, it's like it gets you going, right? Because you have the skeleton.
I saw my scores start to go up on the multiple choice drastically at about probably study block, maybe 55, 56.
And those were so helpful, because somewhere in those videos, it clicked. I was like, oh, okay.
This whole program is really about training your brain to see the pattern.
You don't know what you don't know until you study this program. Like, the light bulb moment that you have when you read the book, if you read the book, and I strongly suggest you do, like, you have that times 10 as you go through the program. Like, so honestly, it's so worth it, like, from every perspective.
I was like, this is definitely working. I can definitely write a better essay. I can answer these MBE questions much faster. And like, I knew the method was working for me.
The midterm that we did, it was extremely helpful.
And I was like, where are these patterns? And it's not until I took your program where I started to see the patterns. I had no idea. And there are patterns. Once I knew the patterns, I'm like, okay, this is easy. I know what they want me to say.
The practice of it really helped me with issue spotting. The same issues come up the same exact way every time. The patterns repeat over and over again. And when you do this method, it really trains your brain to recognize that. It is brain training. This is a game. This is not a what do you know thing. It really isn't. It really is, do you recognize the patterns? Can you spot what the problems are? And this method teaches you to do that. Your brain just recognizes it. I
learned all that through you and the program, like how to be analytical, how to be faster, how to be efficient.
I felt really confident, and I had emailed her asking her for predictions before I had signed up for her course. And I didn't feel, after I took her course, I'm going to tell you, I didn't feel like I needed a prediction, because I felt prepared enough that whatever I was going to get, I was going to know how to do.
You know that you're prepared rather than thinking you're prepared. Like, you know for sure.
I'm very grateful that I found your program, that I found your book, because maybe I wouldn't have passed yet, with that mentality that I had before.
Doing all of that active work really just boosted my confidence.
The PT, Jessica's method was awesome for that. I felt really, really strong going into that, and I finished it really, really strong.
And this last test, because I did so many MBEs through your program this time and last time, I finished like 10 minutes before, how it was cut into breaks. Like the first 50, I finished 10 minutes ahead.
The MPT is what put me over into passing.
Surprisingly, my multiple choice went up by 10 points compared to the last time I took it.
I knew in my heart that it was different this time. Like, I was super happy, obviously, but in my heart, I was like, I already knew I had passed it. Like, after I took it, I felt like I had passed it.
Connecticut actually breaks down by law school what the average scores are. Yes. So I kind of looked it up, and I was like on par with the average score for like Yale or whatever.
I even left the bar exam thinking that I killed my MPT. I'm like, I feel like that was the model answer. So the emotion and the feelings were a lot different. My husband's like, I know you passed because you walked out of the room completely different.
I was just so proud, right? I was like, all the hard work paid off, and putting time on my MPTs was great and so helpful. And I'm sure that's where I got a lot of points that I wasn't getting in other exams.
I would have passed the first time, I believe, if I would have known what I knew. Matter of fact, I contacted my Center for Professional Development, and I explained the difference in my points. You got a 34, 35 point jump in points. Like, that's no joke. So it fit my learning style. And the Center for Professional Development in Cincinnati has now put it on their list for required reading for bar.
I wish I'd done it sooner, because I'm saving myself so much more time, money and stress. So no, honestly, I could not recommend enough what your program's done to me. Because,
I wish I would have known about Jessica's program 3 months before the bar exam.
I had told my partner, I said, I just wish I would have had her before law school, because I think I would have, having someone direct your learning, guide to what you're supposed to do, was just the most valuable thing I could have had.
I'm so glad every single day that I took that step.
It's a feeling of accomplishment. Like I did this, and there were all these people that said that I couldn't. And I think you're always going to have people in your life that are going to tell you you can't do something, and you just kind of need to, and sometimes it's yourself. You need to kind of quell those voices and just say, I'm just going to do my thing.
You were encouraging in a way that I felt like you really get me, because you've done it and you train a lot of students. So that was big for me. And thank you for being there all the way, right? You were there since the beginning, where I hadn't passed and I felt kind of defeated, and then 14 points away. And then I think you were very encouraging, it's only 14 points, you can totally pass this time.
I'll try not to cry. But it's funny, I remember getting the result and seeing pass after all of those heartbreaking failures and all of the crying and everything I did up until that point, all of the disappointment. I was by myself, and I just sat there and cried. It was like a pandemic, right? So I wasn't around my family or anything. My husband was upstairs because he was probably nervous for me and didn't want to see me upset again. And to, give everybody that good news was awesome. That was the best part about it.
I mean, I was bawling when I finally got my results that I passed, and he was like, you did it. You worked hard, you did it. So that made me cry even more.
My husband was out finishing up chores. I was inside, and then I sent him a picture of my name on it, and he came like running and screaming and jumping in the house, you know, just floored that he had to sacrifice a lot to help me get this through. And I actually, when I heard, I'm not a crier, but I started crying. I started bawling my eyes out because I realized just how grateful I was for multiple reasons. One, because I've dreamed about it since I was a little kid. And two, just obviously knowing I didn't have to go through it again was the first thing, but the fact that I failed prior made me cherish it that much more when I saw it that time. So I literally just sobbed and like kind of dropped to my knees, and you know, my husband was jumping for joy, and it was probably the thing that I've done in my life out of all my accomplishments that's meant the most to me, because this means now that, you know, you have the power to help protect other people. That's what a law degree does. The law, you know, it's what passing the bar exam does.